Hi guys, how are you doing today? Welcome back to Random Lifestyle Vlog. If you're new here, this channel is all about beauty. We talk about fragrances, skincare, makeup. We do some unboxings and a little bit of vlogging too. So if that sounds interesting to you, please consider subscribing. So today's video is going to be another fragrance one, not a fragrance haul though this time. Today I'm going to talk about this line of fragrances. So this is the Dolce & Gabbana, the only one line. There are like 3 fragrances, not the only one, there are 3 of them. If you have been maybe thinking about buying one of those and you didn't really know which one to choose, or maybe you have one of these and are thinking about getting the other 2, I'm going to try and answer your potential questions, tell you a little bit about each fragrance, how similar, how different they are, and pretty much my thoughts about these scents. So let's start. So I'm obviously going to start with the original Dolce & Gabbana, the only one. This is that one in this kind of translucent bottle with amber colored liquid. I'm going to read you the notes first so that we know what we're talking about. So the top notes here, I'm going to put them here, are violet, orange and bergamot. Then the middle notes, coffee, pear, iris, orange blossom, rose. And then we have base notes of caramel, vanilla and patchouli. So don't worry about this patchouli note too much. It's not like super prominent. It's just there like in the background. This is just this beautiful caramel-y kind of scent. The coffee note here is nothing like in Black Opium. It's just again there, quite nicely blended, really pleasant, sweet scent, but not like overly sweet, at least not in my opinion. I don't really find it to be like sickly sweet. If I were to kind of give you some sort of like reference for that sweetness, I'll probably just put it next to Jessica Simpson Fancy. That's kind of like a caramel with some like tanginess to it. Or maybe Hugo Boss Private Accord, the scent Private Accord. These scents are completely different. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not really saying they're similar, but you kind of have the similar kind of level of sweetness. They're not like overly sweet, they're not like full on or like straight on kind of edible scents. They do have that sweet gourmandish notes, and then they have like this tanginess to it, or like floral notes, like something that kind of like gives it a little bit edge to it. This particular scent I find it actually very pleasant. It is sexy, but not like in your face sexy. This is more of like a close contact scent. So I'll probably say it's more like intimate. Pretty, nothing like groundbreaking. It's not like a revolutionary kind of scent that smells like nothing else in this world, but it is quite pretty and I actually really like it. Okay, let's move on to the intense version, which is the black one here. How on earth this is actually the intense version of this fragrance, I have no idea. Honestly, let's just have a look at the notes and that might actually just clear things out for you a little bit. So the notes of the black one, the intense version, are top notes neroli, green apple, Italian mandarin. Then we have middle notes of jasmine, coconut, orange blossom. And then we have base notes of vanilla, cashmere, wood and cedar. So just for reference, I'm going to put the notes of this fragrance, the original one here. Can you see any similarities? I mean, I'm going to make it easier for you. Yes, there are 2 notes that these fragrances share, and these are orange blossom and vanilla. Like, honestly, I have no idea why this is actually the same scent, the same line. They are not related. They're not even related. They're not even like distant cousins. No, there's nothing similar between these fragrances. So I don't know why. So let's talk about the Dolce & Gabbana, the only one intense now. Okay, so this fragrance is quite famous for being apparently this like creamy coconutty scent. Here's the thing though, it seems to me like the majority of people, like I'll probably say like 70, maybe even 80%, but just don't quote me on that, I didn't run any statistics, this is just pretty much how I kind of perceive it. But definitely the majority of people kind of get this beautiful creamy coconut note. And then the rest of the people, like the remaining 20-30%, they don't. So unfortunately, I'm amongst those who actually don't really get pretty much any coconut here whatsoever, let alone creamy, like no coconut. I don't know. This, to me, it's like a really beautiful, elegant, quite expensive smelling scent that's mostly based on neroli, some mandarin, some jasmine. That apple note is actually there for sure, so that's actually really pretty. But where's that coconut? Most of the days I don't get any coconut in here. Only when it's like really cold outside, there is some coconut that actually appears on my skin from that. I wouldn't still describe it as this like a creamy coconutty scent still, but it is definitely a scent that contains some sort of coconut in it on a cold day. Okay, other than that, to me, this is like a interesting, like really pretty actually floral scent. I like it, but I would probably like it much more if I could get that coconut. Unfortunately, I can't. Just to give you a little bit more reference here, I think that was Karina Waldron. She was actually sniffing it like straight from the bottle, like a blind sniff. And she said that this is like a very strong tuberose scent. There's no tuberose in here, but you kind of get that kind of vibe from this scent. That concoction of like florals and like some fruity notes in here gives you almost like a very similar vibe to this like sharp tuberose scent. Once you know the notes here, you won't mistake it for like tuberose, but it might be like the first impressions. So again, this is some sort of reference if you kind of want to imagine how this smells if you don't get that coconut, because I can't really speak for those people who actually smell that coconut in here. So the last fragrance in this collection, the only one too. I mean, the name is ridiculous. It sounds like a sequel of like a really cheesy rom-com, but never mind. Bottle is quite nice with kind of like red, like deep red tone. I like it. The scent, it's so pretty. Okay, so here we actually have a certain similarity to the original fragrance. So I wouldn't really be mad if this was like the intense version of the original one. That would kind of make more sense. And then this would be like the only one too, then maybe it would suggest that it's like a different scent, but I don't know. Never mind, that's not really the most important thing, right? So this is beautiful. This is still slightly gourmand-ish, but it also has these beautiful like floral notes. Let's have a look at them. So the top notes here are blackberry, red berries, pear and freesia. Then we have middle notes of red rose, coffee and violet, and then base notes of tonka bean, patchouli, ambergris and amberwood. As you can see, we have violet, we have coffee, we have some pear. These are the notes that were in this fragrance as well. We have some patchouli. There are certain similarities, but at the same time, this is much more, much fruitier and much more like floral with this like rose note. It's really beautiful. It kind of gives me a little bit of the vibe that I got from Nina Ricci L'Extase, the original one. Although the L'Extase fragrance actually, I mean, I can't wear it. I can't wear it. It gives me, it smells very mature on my skin, but not like, you know, classy, elegant mature. It just gives me like a proper grandma mature. I don't know. I know many people love it. On my skin, it just reeks. I mean, I can't. This one though gives me a little bit of that, but much better, and it actually works with my skin chemistry, which is so good. This one is actually much like less complex than the Nina Ricci fragrance, so maybe that's the reason. Maybe there is something in the Nina Ricci fragrance that kind of clashes with my skin. This one works perfectly. It's sexy, but in a kind of like a elegant way. It's a little bit more mature than this one for sure, and it is so pretty. Okay, let's quickly compare these fragrances now. Okay, so just to sum up, I'll probably say that the original, the only one, is the one that smells like the youngest of like this whole selection. This probably is also the safest blind buy because, you know, just looking at the description, you can pretty much imagine how that's going to smell. So quite easy, quite simple, like not very problematic. But at the same time, this fragrance is probably the least unique. It's just like the type of fragrance that you can get somewhere else or something very similar. I still really like it, but I don't really find it like extremely like mind-blowing. Dolce Gabbana Intense, this one definitely smells the most expensive. It is the most unique to my nose. I would prefer it so much more if this actually had this coconut note on my skin, if I could get that coconut note. But since I can't, this is probably my least favorite of them all. I do really like it though. I still think this is a good one. This is not a safe blind buy for sure. considering the fact that you might not really get that coconut and you might be expecting it, definitely something that you should test before buying. Like, you might get what you kind of expected, but it is also possible that you'll get something completely different. Like, that was literally my case. I did not really expect this fragrance to smell like that. I like it. I like it though, so that's good, but what if you don't? So not necessarily a safe blind buy. And then we have the only one too, probably my favorite fragrance in the selection. I really like how they actually took this fragrance and made it a little bit more like a little sexier, a little bit more mature, but in a good way. And it just works, you know, it just works. It is quite unique. I really like how it smells. Also, this one, guys, is actually discontinued, so if you want to get your hands on this this fragrance, be quick, because it might just disappear at some point. So you can still buy it in some places, but you know, be careful. All in all, I have to say these fragrances are quite different. So if you own one of these and you want to have the other two, I mean, go for it. These fragrances are quite different to each other. The intense version is completely different to the other two. If someone could smell this fragrance on you on one day and this one on the other one, I don't think they would actually guess that these are like related fragrances. These are definitely not sisters, maybe cousins, but like distant cousins, I would say. But definitely two different fragrances. If both of them actually sound interesting to you, then why not getting them both, or all three of them, because that kind of makes sense. I would only say be careful with this one, with the intense version, because this is actually something that might surprise you, and not necessarily in a good way. So these are my thoughts about these fragrances. What do you guys think? Have you tried any of these scents? Were you thinking about like maybe buying any of these or all of them? Please share your thoughts with me down in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you tried all of them, let me know which one is your favorite. Thank you very much for watching. For more fragrance related content, check those videos here. I'm going to see you very soon. Take care. Bye.